Hello again, and welcome back to the Star Trek Critic. Today's episode is The Conscience of the King, which is excellently presented in the style of a Shakespearean play, and even starts by being in a theater watching a Shakespearean play. The Enterprise is diverted to meet an old acquaintance of Kirk's who claims he has spotted Kodos the Executioner hiding as one of the actors, and has been presumed to be dead. So the backstory is that 20 years ago, on an Earth colony of 8,000 people, a fungus destroyed all the food, and Governor Kodos decided to execute 4,000 of them so the other half would survive. Tom is convinced the man is Kodos. Kirk is convinced he was found dead, and there are only 9 people who can identify him. But shouldn't the other 4,000 survivors of the colony also be able to identify him? So I will have to take a point here, since there is no concrete answer to that question. Kirk goes back to the Enterprise for a recap of what happened on Tarsus 4. This took place 20 years ago, which would make Kirk 13 at the time when this happened, although the show implies that he was on the ship that responded to the incident, so -1 point for an age mismatch, and another point here for the computer giving information on Kodos with the stardate of 2794, which was just a month ago. Kirk cuts the computer off and asks about Caridian the actor. The computer voice was added later, I'm sure, and could have been referring to Caridian instead, but was plugged in at the wrong time. Kirk makes the connection and tells Spock he is beaming back down to Tom's dinner party to make a positive identification. Shouldn't Kirk be in his dress uniform at this party? But if you want to get technical, he shouldn't be in uniform at all, because he is drinking, and someone might complain that the captain of a starship is drinking while on duty. So, -1 point for setting a bad example. The city in the background looks just like Mojave from The Cage. But Kirk is a little distracted now. He just saw a blonde. He is so distracted that he hands Lenore the glass he has been drinking out of all night. I hope he didn't have any diseases. So Kirk, you lose a point for not getting her a drink from the tray that Mrs. Leighton was carrying around. Yes, Kirk, what is your next move? But Caridian doesn't like parties. Bad for Kirk's reason for being at the party, but it looks like he's got new plans as it is. Kirk seems to have no problem hitting on the daughter of a man he suspects is in hiding for killing 4,000 people. These are the troops' future plans. When you hear them say, she's a good ship, do you ever think lollipop? Kirk makes his move. He asks if she's tired of walking. She says, no, just thinking. Does that mean she's tired of thinking? Her pickup lines are as bad as Kirk's. Now Tom Leighton is dead, and Lenore really starts to put on her act. She's very good at it too, considering she is the one who killed him. Look at how innocent she pretends to be. Mrs. Leighton doesn't seem to be too upset, or she might just still be in shock. But if this was a murder, why aren't the police here? Or is that a deleted scene? Now Kirk doesn't have to be so sneaky about getting the Astral Queen to bail on the acting troupe. The Enterprise is already in orbit, and the Astral Queen is light years away. They probably would have made the trade even if there wasn't the murder. But when it comes to who owes who a favor, Kirk should be nice enough to tell John Daly where Earth is. The Astral Queen is one of the ships with the Battlestar Galactica, and they have been searching for Earth for years. But I will have to take a point for Kirk saying over and out. That is bad radio communications. Saying over means you are finished talking and are ready for the next person to respond. Saying out means you're hanging up. Saying over and out is contradicting yourself, so make up your mind. And please don't say it's over and out because you saw it on TV. The TV industry could never get it right because they've seen it done this way on TV for years. And this is Star Trek humor at its best. Another point lost here for Lenore beaming up to the Enterprise to ask Kirk for transportation. She should have played her damsel in distress act on the view screen instead. It would have made much more logistical sense, and she still would have gotten a lift from the captain. No, Spock isn't suspicious at all. Lenore offers a special performance for the crew in exchange for transportation. This probably happens much more often than is shown in the series. Kirk, you're full of shit, and everybody knows it. Gilmore Moran steps out of the turbo lift and her look says, who the hell are you? Spock is seeing some red flags. I will have to take a point here. The arrival stardate is slightly after the stardate in the Galileo 7, so there is a stardate mismatch. There were only 9 eyewitnesses. They should all have an idea of who was there at the time. And it turns out one of the 9 is also on the ship. Just how long has Riley been on the Enterprise? Kirk really doesn't know his own crew at all, does he? It's because Kevin Riley is in the Star Service and not Starfleet that Kirk doesn't recognize him. Spock sees another red flag. Now you know Spock is confused about the whole thing when he goes to Dr. McCoy for help. And why is Dr. McCoy drinking on the job and sickbay? He's the doctor, so -1 point. Of course, the last time we saw McCoy in his quarters, a creature posing as his old girlfriend drugged him, assumed his identity, sucked the salt out of 4 people, and tried to kill the captain too. So maybe he feels it's safer to drink in sickbay. Is this an inconsistency, or is McCoy just drunk and pissed that Spock won't join him? Spock knows something is up with the actors being on the ship. McCoy's response is, never mind, he's pretty drunk, isn't he? Now he takes a jab at Spock's personal chemistry, which is quite inappropriate. When did McCoy see her? He wasn't on the bridge when she came up, and Kirk was the only one on the surface watching the play. Spock is also concerned about the sudden transfer of Riley. McCoy's response, come on, have a drink. So something tells me Spock will never go to Dr. McCoy for help again. Here is the observation deck where Kirk and Lenore play each other with horribly cheesy pickup lines. Kirk suspects her father of killing his friend, when really it was her, and Lenore's next target is Kirk. But right now, I think their hormones are getting in the way. That's what she said. She really said it too. So, are they playing each other, or really just need to get this out of their system before they get back to business? Spock makes the discovery, and takes it to a now sober Dr. McCoy, who makes the comment that TOS wasn't the first to use this as a very brief reference to Earth history, and Spock tells his discovery that Kirk and Riley are the only 2 left of those 9, and the acting troupe is always around when one of them has died. In this scene, you see Riley in engineering all by himself, Lieutenant Uhura playing a Vulcan harp, and a 3D checkers game. I will have to take a point here. There should always be at least 2 people in engineering, which needs to be super clean so you would never have food there, and there should be some type of security access to get into it, so no one can sneak in and spray poison into your drink with a squirt bottle. And Kirk is wrong here, thinking that it's his personal business only. They never really say if there was an investigation done on Leighton's murder. Someone tried to kill Riley, and Spock is convinced Kirk is next, so it is the business of the first officer and the doctor. And there are some very good dramatic lines in this episode. This turned out to be an excellent screenshot. I guess phasers have timers on them to blow themselves up. What does a double red alert mean? Abandoned ship? This is a good reason you should have the Find My Phaser app on your phone. I will have to take another point for continuity. In the cage, number 1 simply had to turn a dial to turn off the phaser overload. Here on the new model, that doesn't have that option, so Kirk had to throw it down a conveniently placed laundry chute. Here comes the showdown between Caridian and Kirk. Arnold Moss's acting is perfect, which means most of it will be cut from this review. Kirk actually threatens him at the end of their discussion. And now comes the showdown between Lenore and Kirk. She is totally playing the innocent victim act in front of him. You gotta look out for these actors. You never know what they are hiding. Here McCoy makes a big blunder, and Riley's gonna take off for revenge. The play begins. The voices match, but Kirk wants an exact match. And McCoy discovers Riley is missing. Security reports a phaser is missing, and Kirk makes an all-call to be on the lookout for Riley, who he suspects is heading to the theater. But wouldn't they hear that also in the theater? Kirk stops Riley just in time. But where is security? They know where he's heading, the whole ship knows, and Kirk beat him there. So -1 point for slow security response on the Enterprise. Here the father and daughter confess to each other, and the big reveal of who the real culprit is. And Lenore gets a little wackier second by second here. And poor Caridian. Well, he was a mass murderer, but he did spend his entire 20 years trying to keep his daughter free from his past. And it turned out all that work was for nothing. Lenore goes over the deep end really quick. Of course, she has to do it before the show ends. She is really in character now. She got the phaser from security quick, of course, because security sucks. And he's probably the one called to look for Riley half an hour ago. Not one of them runs to tackle her, they just stand there and stare. And she's really looking spooky now. Look at security in the background there, he's just worthless. Kodos the Executioner makes a final effort to save one of his witnesses and gets killed by his own daughter. Partly because she's gone mad, and partly because security sucks. so minus 1 point for security. In the video, you can see Caridian breathing here, but then it is his last breath. Dr. McCoy never does make it to the theater. He was on his way there too. This screenshot turned out real good. McCoy makes his report. Lenore remembers nothing. The acting troupe is dropped off on Benicia Colony, and Kirk answers McCoy's question by not answering. And the Enterprise flies off after ending its first Shakespearean-style episode set in the 23rd century. This would be the best Star Trek episode to present as a school play. The Conscience of the King gets a score of 87%. And unfortunately, Dr. McCoy is too correct on this one. Just 10 years after this show aired, the Khmer Rouge caused 2 million Cambodians to die in just 4 years. This is the final time we see Kevin Riley. Barbara Anderson did a long run on Ironside and some episodes of Mission Impossible. William Sargent's family escaped Nazi Germany, then he served in the Korean War before pursuing an acting career. Carl Brook was born in Austria-Hungary, lost his whole family during the Holocaust. Natalie Norwick was on several soap operas, including Dark Shadows. And Arnold Moss brought Shakespearean acting to Star Trek with this memorable performance. But he's not a British actor. Arnold Moss is from Brooklyn. That's it for now. Leave your comments below. Who is your favorite character? Does Star Trek work best as a Shakespearean play? Before you go, click the like button, the subscribe button, and share this video with someone you know. Check out my other videos and playlists, and I will see you again real soon.